So everybody, so the idea for today was sort of to talk about stand-up and how it's changed my life and how it's helped me so much, and how it relates to overcoming fear. Now, it's really interesting timing. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I've been in the personal development for a really long time. I started really working on myself kind of in the mid to late 2000s, but I'd say really aggressively 2007, 2008, really going out there, doing things that were scary. In my case, it was talking to beautiful girls, but that of course led to all kinds of personal development. But not everybody knows that my first passion, and still a huge passion of mine, is stand-up comedy. That actually I started doing stand-up comedy in 1997 when I was 17 years old. And I was a full-time comedian pretty much till around 2011-ish, when the whole day game thing just popped off. And I was like making all this money and having so much fun just running around flirting with ladies. And then I'm like, okay, this is really happening. So, and I just kind of did less comedy, but the passion for comedy never went away. It's funny because, I kind of always looked at my journey, my personal development journey, as a separate thing from comedy. When people ask me, oh, Sasha, how'd you get into it? And I kind of go, well, I wasn't good with women, and I was shy, and I really wanted to connect with people. So I had this crazy idea to go out there and be socially free and talk to people and yada, yada, yada. But only really later, in my later years, when I really started looking at my growth and I really was like really expanding my skill set and what I was doing, did I really put two and two together and realize just how critical my stand-up journey was in my journey into becoming who I am today. Like, it's so critical, and it's hard for me to really feel into it now. But I was terrified the first time I did stand-up comedy. I mean, it was terrifying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand where I came from. I had no confidence, man. I had, I'm not going to go through my personal story. You guys probably know it, but no confidence, no father figure. Mom was pretty much, really, really, really psychologically unbalanced. A lot of physical abuse, a lot of psychological abuse. So I didn't have a lot of friends. I was really did not have really belief in myself, but I had this inner call, and I knew I had to do it. And I'm really glad I did. But holy shit, I had to push through. I was really, really scared. But the fact that I did it, and I did the one thing that's absolutely crucial to being successful in life, I did the thing I was the most afraid of. At age 17, I don't know how I did it, because I really didn't have anyone encouraging me, but somehow I managed to find that inner light that was like, dude, you got to do stand-up comedy. You want to do it. You just know, go and do the thing. And I managed to do it. And that set me up as somebody who just kept pushing, just kept doing scary things throughout life, including the crazy idea that you can go and talk to beautiful women on the street while sober, even though everyone around was like, bro, that's not going to work. You can't do that. So we're at a very unique time in history where being fearless is more valuable than ever. Like 6 months ago, it was still great being fearless, because you can go talk to, beautiful people you're attracted to. You can, you'll have a great vibration. You'll talk to more people. You'll be more social. You'll get more job offers. People want to work with you when you're fearless, and things happen around you, right? You're always making moves and doing things, and people want to be around the guy who's not scared, who's inspired and taking action, right? So life is already better when you're fearless. But right now, if you can maintain that fearlessness and do things that are uncomfortable, and do things and follow your heart and do what really is your passion, follow your excitement now in these crazy times, you can really excel. You can kick fucking ass even more than before, because there's a space for it, because so many people are sitting around going, terrified to leave the house. I hate to say it, but it's true. So I wanted to do this rant because being fearless is extremely important. And for me in my life, doing stand-up comedy, being vulnerable enough to get up in front of a stage and tell jokes and be who I am and express myself, absolutely changed the quality of my life in such a huge way. And I'm, for the first time online ever, teaching comedy therapy, which is a really unique thing I came up with a long time ago. Long time, about 5 or 6 years ago, during a friend of mine's workshop, Steve Pavlina's workshop. I taught a bunch of people how to write jokes, how to do stand-up comedy. And when people actually got real enough to share, who they were and talk about their story, man, it was so much fun. We laughed our asses off. It was so healing. And in that day, comedy therapy was born. And I've done it in Europe, Canada. I've done it all over the world a few times. It's been really, really fun. And we're going to do it online, because I just recognize that being able to joke about yourself and share who you are authentically to others, to strangers, whether it be on stage or just one-on-one conversations, is one of the fundamental, most amazing skills that I've picked up on, that I've developed over my life. That's really what I'm an expert on: being myself, sharing my truth, being comfortable in my own skin. And it's something everybody wants. So I thought I'd just have the team on today just to chat about the old days and some of the things I learned in comedy, and really just share some of my wisdom and experience from all my comedy days, because frankly, I don't talk about it all the time, or even that often, or at all, really. So here we are.
All right, English people, how are you? Great, thank you. Good. Now, before I begin, let's just get this out of the way right at the beginning. All the people that hate Americans, make some noise! Oh, I can feel the love. You know what? I'm really getting tired of that. Just people are walking up to me on the street. I've never met, just walking up going, "Oh, you fucking Americans started a war, and now lots of innocent people are dying, and women, and children, and Look, I just want to say, somehow our American oil got under Iraqi sand.
Hey man, have you ever seen comedians on TV and thought, man, that looks like it'd be a really good time? It is a good time. And on May 31st, I'll be teaching my comedy therapy workshop. It's not just about pushing your comfort zones and getting up on that stage and doing something that's terrifying, which, by the way, will change your life.
I had a tough childhood, man. It was really fucked up. Okay, I was the only kid I ever met that was actively trying to get kidnapped.
And it's about being able to write comedy about your personal story, really getting into who you are, sharing your shit in an honest way and laughing about it. It's very, very healing. It's energetically and emotionally very, very good for you. And it allows you to connect more authentically and deeper with other people. Whether they're men, women, business associates, it doesn't matter. It really changes the fundamental energy in your life. You're more open, you're more fluid, you're more in a loving place. So if you want to actually work on yourself and have a really, really good time, check it out. The link is below, and we're starting on May 31st. I'd love to have you in it.
We've got footage from you doing comedy all over the world. You started in Toronto. You were living in LA doing comedy for a while. You've spoken in Amsterdam, Sweden. How do you feel about comedy, like as this language that you can go anywhere in the world? And once you've got that skill down to make people laugh all over the world, must be pretty amazing, right?
It's not even the fact that you can go and do stand-up anywhere. It's more that you take it with you. It's like you can make somebody laugh or take the piss out of yourself. And it's just a way to connect with people. You know, at any point I can just be like, hey, and I could just go into one of my little jokes or whatever. People won't even know it's from my routine. And if it's really obvious, I'll be like, okay, that's one of the jokes from my routine. And everyone goes, oh, you do stand-up comedy? That's really cool. Yeah. How long have you been doing it? So just immediately, as soon as you mention you've done stand-up comedy, everybody wants to, talk to you. And it's really interesting because most people are so shit scared of it, they would never do it. So yeah, it's a great way because comedians are really a separate breed of people because because everybody's died and everybody, it really humbles you. I'm guessing Mike would say the same thing with jiu-jitsu. He's told me this before. He said jiu-jitsu people are so fucking down to earth and friendly because they all know there's always a guy that's better than you that can kick the shit out of you. So the same thing when you're a comedian, we've all bonded. We all know what it's like to be on that stage in front of hundreds of people with everybody looking at us like we're a fucking asshole. So it really humbles you, and you've got that to connect with everybody. So it is a beautiful thing that to have that common sort of theme, that connection with other comedians. It is a beautiful thing. But most beautiful is just be able to connect with people authentically because you've been humbled by it and you've got jokes about yourself. Every comedian's got some jokes where they can rip into themselves, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is very humbling and amazing when you're around somebody who's really been through some shit, including dying on stage.
Yeah, it's like you all went through the same hazing, right? It's kind of like
exactly.
The same initiation, the same rite of passage.
So Caroline Strada on YouTube has a fantastic question. What are the things, if there are things, that are big no-nos in comedy? Like things that you can't do, things that are universally like, don't do this.
Ask a girl to watch you masturbate.
He's back.
Hey,
Too soon, Louis.
I love Louis C.K. Leave him alone. Yeah. It's kind of no holds barred. At least it was back in those days. Now I don't know. I think people have gotten weaker. I think people are less likely to speak truth or really rip into controversial topics. Very few people are pushing boundaries. Like, you know what I mean? My favorite comics were Richard Pryor, Bill Hicks. You just mentioned George Carlin. Yeah, those guys are my favorites because they were just speaking truth and just talking about real shit, and they were not afraid.
They're the modern day philosophers. I think that the best comedians are the modern day version of philosophers that used to, like rhetoric professionals from ancient Greece that used to walk around trying to convince people of shit. I think that the modern version of that are the best comedians.
I see there's a couple of questions in the chat about politically incorrect jokes and
Oh shit, here we go.
things like that.
Here we go now.
I know there's some footage of Sasha out there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some jokes and some of his old comedy clips inside of the Infinite Man cave. So anybody that really wants to see it can see it. And I know you already put an exercise up there. The first comedy therapy exercise is already up there now for people in the cave.
Pre-training. Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, just a little video. I think it's about 12, 13 minutes long. And it's just about, you know, the general idea of like comedy therapy, what it is, who it's for, the benefits of it, a little bit of what we're going to do. And I also share a really, really powerful, like probably, one of the most powerful techniques that I've learned over many, many years of doing comedy and day game, of how you can actually make a first impression and make people giggle and connect with people really deep with meeting them over, the first couple of minutes. So that's a little special thing I made for anybody who's following me, who wants to, get that skill down and maybe find out a little bit more about the comedy therapy course. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody's into that, head over to infinitemansummit.com/comedy. And we got a big old button right here. It'll take you into our free content library area. And then that's where you can get the exercise right here. And then read more testimonials, the breakdown of the course. And then we even have a bonus Woke as Fuck podcast at the bottom with JP Sears that Sasha did a couple years ago, where the whole conversation is about like the healing power, the higher level purpose of comedy. And you can go grab that as a free download too. So all of that is at infinitemansummit.com/comedy.
I'll just wrap up on this. This whole idea of we're putting on this persona on stage, and it's true. I put on a little ego and I get up there and I get a little loud and I get the audience's attention. It's part of my personality. But in truth, as you get more and more comfortable just expressing you and joking around, there's less and less of a distinction between me on stage and off stage, much less now than there was 10 years ago. And Chris will back me up on that. Right now I can go on stage and it's really just mainly me being myself. And sure, I'm being more jokey and more jovial and whatever, but it's really me. It's really just me. While 10 years ago, it's like, oh, okay, this guy's, you'd look at, if you really judged me by on stage, you know what I mean? You'd be like, okay, he's really putting on a show. He's really trying hard to be funny. But when you're really comfortable in your skin, you don't even have to try. You're just funny because you got connected and honest about your past and your trauma and your bullshit. You realize we're all human beings and you just feel okay about who you are and sharing that with other people. And it becomes really, 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 really freeing. So you just end up being more fun to be around because you're comfortable being you. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
So that's really what this course is about. It's not going to be super, super heavy. We're not going to make you do really, really tough things like, it's more comedy than therapy for sure. But I'd say it's about 60-40, 60-40. Yeah, it's comedy and you're going to push your fears and you're going to do it, but you're going to be getting comfortable, being authentic and sharing your shit and sharing your fears and just being present with other human beings. And sometimes one-to-one in the Zoom when we split up the rooms, and you're going to be also sharing your story and joking around and sharing your comedy bits when they're written in smaller groups, maybe 4, 5, 6 people. And in the end, the last mission, you will be performing stand-up comedy in a comedy club in your city. That is the final mission. So it's a really great course. If you're into personal development, pushing your boundaries, you want to be able to live more fearlessly and express yourself and shine your light bright in this world, this course is for you. That's it.